back to the Ref Show with Glenn Turner and David Hurst. This week we're going to follow up what's become a bit of a running story on You Are the Ref about head injuries and now new guidelines from the FA. And we'll ask the question, are clubs actually going to apply those to the letter? But first of all, just the yellow card count. I don't want to make this boring because clearly we're all interested, even refereeing specialists, in the game of football, the spectacle, the entertainment, and not just technicalities about referees. What helps is, over this weekend that we're talking about, in the Premier League, full round of 10 games, only 29 yellow cards. There were 2 yellow cards additionally, equaling Ryan Shawcross's sending off. So it's an average of 3, and mostly people are talking about the game of football, Glenn.
Yeah, and that's got to be a good thing, isn't it? Talking about the game of football rather than the man in the middle. That's about where we would expect it to be, and that's about where we would hope it would be as well. We're talking in part 1 about referees and confidence, and I think that's reflected in the card count now. The refs are going out with confidence and they feel more able, capable and willing to handle situations without pulling cards out quickly. Because really that's your last resort. I can do nothing else with you now. I'm going to have to offer you, give you some disciplinary action. Managing the situation, and I think they're doing that because they're refereeing with much more confidence. So well done.
I think that's a good point. That as we've seen before, where they just brandish the card at an instance instead of listening to it, understanding what's happened. Players are playing at 100 mile an hour. There's passion and commitment involved there. When referees start flashing up, you're going to get the argument situation. What I see, referees now are actually listening to the argument, let it all settle down. The free kick's been given, and away you go. And it's everybody's car. Brandishing the card, then you get another one coming up fighting with the referee, dragging his pal away, his pal's fighting with him, and it causes a situation itself. And I think the fact that the referees now are giving the free kick, letting people calm down, and just moving on with the game.
Just playing devil's advocate and not wanting to dilute the credit that's due to referees, are these games in the Premier League as highly charged as they were at one time?
I think they're highly charged. I mean, don't get me wrong, a Tottenham-Chelsea game is not a Tottenham-Arsenal game. It's not a Man City-Man United, Liverpool-Everton, and we could go on and on and on. But they are highly charged. These are highly paid professionals. And success is what everybody's aiming for, whether it be the manager, the chairman, the players, the fans. It's all driving that way. And no, there's a lot of charge in there, especially when a decision that you feel is given wrong, against you. And that's where the charge lifts up, where we get the argument. But like I said, the referees are soaking it in. They're the punch bag, if you like. They're soaking it up and dealing with it in the correct manner. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 cards in a game, it's going to happen. But it's done at the right times, which keeps the game flowing.
I get a lot of reaction on Twitter whenever we praise on You Are the Ref Premier League referees, and rightly so this season. People saying, oh, you want to go to the Football League, it's not so good down here, kind of thing. And there are always complaints. What about that? Is there an imbalance now between the two standards?
It's only the same with the refereeing team as a whole as it is with the football teams as a whole. Of course, the better one should be in the top division, and that's how it should be, and that's how it is. You're always going to get 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the lower divisions who stick their head above because they really are outstanding. But by and large, that's where you're cutting your teeth. Well, at League 2, moving on to League 1, moving into the Championship, getting ready to move into the Premier League. You expect that. That's how it should be.
Referees and officials at all levels make mistakes. The better ones make less mistakes.
That's right.
You watch Sheffield Wednesday a lot. What's your view, generally, of the officials and the standard this season?
The standard's been reasonable. I'm not saying it's great. I watched a game, I think it was the Huddersfield game. Not the best refereeing performance I've ever seen. But that's the game. Hey, we're human beings. We make mistakes. We have bad days. We can't just keep lambasting the official. It's generally the centre-half's mistake as much as the referee's. That's why he's had to make the decision.
I don't want to keep labouring the same point as well, Alan, but I mean, I watched Chesterfield for my sins, and whilst I see some indifferent refereeing performances occasionally, some of the lining on the Football League, my goodness me. And I'm thinking, you're actually supposed to be the next generation of select elite assistant referees. God help us, I'm thinking. If this is what we've got to look forward to, if this is what's coming through, Goodness me, no.
But this is they're the players that are going to go be the next Premiership players. Yes. Goodness me, we can say it about everything. You know, standards. We set very high standards in the game, whether it be a player or an official, and it's very difficult. You can look at your Manchester Uniteds, your Arsenals, your Tottenham, your Barcelona. They don't perform at the top of their performance week in, week out, every week. It drops, it dips, and that's when you're looking for others to come up and help you out. No difference with the officials.
What I'm seeing now at Football League level on the line is way too many simple decisions going wrong. And you think, where have you pulled that one from?
You notice these where we don't, because you're actually watching with a professional eye. We're watching the play. So I dare say we miss an awful lot of errors, technical errors that you're saying.
See, this is where we've got the problem. We've got people going to the game watching the officials and not the football. I go to watch the football.
So do I, absolutely, every time. Chesterfield and Swindon, there was a lot of football played in that game, mostly by Swindon.
Half, yeah.
Unfortunately, 4-0, Darren Bond was the referee, poor Dean Saunders got the sack afterwards. This doesn't affect his position or the game really, but there was a call in that. Chesterfield player going through towards goal, the last man pushes him from behind. Debatable whether it's a clear scoring opportunity or not. Might be no card whatsoever. Only a free kick on the edge of the box.
And the fact that it was debatable whether or not it was that clears the fact that it's certainly not a red card for a denial of an obvious goal scoring up, because it's clearly not. However, the expectation in the ground and amongst the players and coaching staff was caution. Don't surprise people. Give people what they expect. People expect a caution there. The lad who shoved him probably expected to get a yellow card for that. Don't surprise people. Give what's expected.
There was no surprise, bearing in mind recent results and the reaction of the crowd with Saunders out, that poor Dean Saunders did get. Do you know Dean Saunders?
I do, yeah. I know Dean very well. Yeah,
people who know him say he's a really nice guy.
He's a fantastic guy. Yeah, great guy to be around. Good football brain. Like everything else in this game, you know, spur of the moment, 4-0 defeat, results not been going great. No. People want to win games. And we all know it's not the centre forward or the goalkeeper that gets the sack. It's always the manager.
Yeah. Don't forget he was up for Manager of the Month in October as well, wasn't it? What a kiss of death that turned out.
Yeah, got some sympathy with Dean Saunders on this. I have to say he wasn't my choice of manager, being a Chesterfield supporter. For my sins, I have to admit that.
Every manager in the game is looking over his shoulder when they get a run of poor results. Yeah. There's nobody that's safe in the job, because the man upstairs, the chairman, you know, he's got the trigger finger. He's got he's ready to fire.
It's reality. We just have to face that.
Sadly, nowadays, a run can be 2 or 3 games. It's not a run of a dozen. No. 2 or 3. People are on his back.
Mr. Johnson at Barnsley will be looking over his shoulder, I would imagine.
I think so.
Although they got a great result on.
Got a late goal against Sheffield United for a 1-1 draw. The FA and new guidelines on heading. Now, we talked at length about this, so we won't spend all day on it. But now they're saying that in cases where concussion is suspected, a player must not return to either playing in that game or training that day. In cases where concussion is proved, an adult player can only return after 19 days being out, and for under 19s, that's 23 days, the recommendation. Are professional clubs going to take heed?
It's a tough one when you're paying a fella a lot of money a week and he ain't able to go out there and do his job or train and do his job. It's a difficult one. Medical advice, it's there for a reason. You know, the clubs have doctors, physios, surgeons that know everything about this. They're going to make a decision.
Strikes me that the FA are acting here to ensure that heading isn't eliminated from our game. There's a move towards that in America. That's flash some warning lights. We don't want that.
No, we don't want that.
So that's the FA almost saying, we're going to stop that happening.
Well, it's going to stop it because the people who had the ball are not going to be playing. You know, and
you raised an issue about Gomez, who got injured.
Exactly,
at the weekend.
Gomez gets injured at the weekend. I don't know if they play this week or next weekend. Is he going to be allowed to play? He got carried off with a head injury. Yeah. Is he going to be allowed to play? Now, the manager will want him there because he's the number 1 keeper. Yeah. The opposition are thinking, well, we hope he's not going to play because they're going to have to play the number 2 keeper. Yeah. So...
Also to kind of take it through to its next logical conclusion, our manager's going to start getting into players' ears and saying, I tell you what, if you get a crack on the head, don't let it show. Don't let it show, because we want you next week.
That's dangerous. We don't want that.
And the player's going to do that. I'm not going to go into the physio saying, a bit of an headache after that little clash there, because we've got Man United on Saturday and I want to play in that game. Or it's a cup final. Well, just got picked for England. Or
Yeah, or I'm Jamie Vardy and I'm breaking records
Exactly.
left, right and centre. Yeah.
Questions are finished with from one of our viewers, Keith Gledhill. He sent me this question on Twitter. Not going to involve you, Hursty. You won't. We're going to have a clue about it. Glenn Cerner, 2 fouls in the same move by the same player. 2 fouls in the same move. Both are cautionable. The first one, it's a reckless challenge, yellow card, but play on, advantage. Later in the same move, same defender commits a similar foul. Is that 2? Does he go back for 2 yellows and a red?
You see, it's about game management, this, Alan. You've got to manage the game as a whole, not just the isolated incident. Give the one caution. Give the one.
But technically, you can give both.
Yeah, but you try selling 2 to everybody in the stadium at that point, you're going to have a heck of a job and give one.
Bit like speeding twice, two cameras in.
to be fair, you were spot on, Alan. I hadn't a clue what you were on about there.
As per. David Hurst, Glenn Cerner, thanks very much indeed. Thank you to you. See you for another Ref Show next week. Bye.